You can
We're
see
off
my
and running here.
screen.
Keys to home. We're not going to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening. We're going to let you guess what time of day it is, what day it is.
It's
Fancy
racing
Pants
time.
is being sponsored by Wonder Bread today. Lance, are we going to hear the Fancy Pants story, or is that going to save for another episode?
We'll save that for another episode.
Okay.
And
Some
Mark,
people
you
might
haven't
know
heard the
who
Fancy
TJ.
Pants story. It's hysterical.
I have to represent my
Is
cowboy.
that a costume, or are we trying to be frightening? Because
We are frightening. I mean, yeah, I see that. I mean, we're frightening, but we're not nearly as scary as the Titans.
hey, well, I have another team I
38
like
to
in professional
3.
football.
It's
What?
38 to
The
3
Browns.
right now.
Wait, what?
The Browns.
You're losing 38-3
The Titans are.
to
So
the
turn-
Browns? Well, there you go.
No.
Wait, they're what? What?
Yeah, there you
No,
go.
it's the Colts.
No, I was going to say it's not the
Well,
Browns.
we're losing to the Broncos right now, so.
Should I turn my shirt
Oh.
inside out and make it a rally shirt, like rally
Yeah,
caps?
I'm sorry, it's
I'm
38 to
waiting for
7.
Lance to turn his cap to the left and sideways, so rallying. There we go.
Dude, this hat and costume. So for those of you wondering, it was our annual Halloween party. And I mean, I'm not dressed properly. I mean, I've got the pants. It is the whole work. This is all embroidered. Where's the camera? It is insane, this costume.
Wait till
My
you
Chinese
see what
friends-
Tim and I are going as.
We need to get all dripped up, with some gold chains and.
Go old school.
I don't know. That might be my costume next week.
I was going to say, are you going somewhere? Do you guys know what you're doing? Or
Our neighborhood usually gets packed. I mean, this will be my first year coming back from, and last time, the year before I left, I lost count at about 175 kids,
nice.
maybe 180.
We'll have about 4. Actually, our neighbors across the street, they're having a birthday party for their daughter, and they're having a bunch of kids. Are like, please be home so the kids can trick or treat. And there'll be more
Nice.
than one house
Nice.
with something
Well-
in it.
Mark, are you going to have a little sign made? Hint, this is something you should do from your printer that says at the front, don't be scared of debt. I can help.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, that's awesome. In fact, you just gave me the idea for my next little short. Don't be scared of debt.
It's frightening.
I'm here. to
Yeah,
help
you
your
just gave me an
teeth rot,
idea. That's
not your
awesome.
future.
That's awesome.
I'm here for you. I would have been a great marketer.
I resonate.
Right. And as a realtor, you do have to market yourself a bit. What have you guys been seeing this week? Anything?
Go ahead, Lance.
Well, interest rates were the lowest they were the first week of September in several years.
They dropped out the bottom? They're 2.5 again?
The news picked up on it on about September 10th, and they started, rates are down, they're lowering rates. And pretty much since then, rates have gone up. There was a slight downtick this week, but my phone has been ringing, and it's a dog doing something back there. My phone has been ringing.
Ghost.
I heard 30 years are in the 5.5, and I'm like,
I
we
heard
can
you
get
won the
you there.
lottery.
yeah, we can get you there. But they're still better than they were a couple weeks. But anyway, it's just everyone's behind. Things were looking kind of good Wednesday, and then Thursday afternoon, lo and behold, rates started to, or the indices started to go the opposite direction. And then Friday morning, what was the news? Inflation is up. And
Is that because the
and-
reports came out, or is that the day we said we weren't talking with China anymore, or is that the day that the East Wing got
rates-
torn
it was
down?
It was the day supposed inflation, but that'll be, reworked. Anyway, so it's been busy. I'm super blessed to have a lot of people interested. People are looking at houses. People are buying. Jennifer, one of your clients, got a property inspection waiver.
Appraisal,
for
yeah. Did they accept
for
that?
those-
Did they accept an appraisal waiver?
No, they want an appraisal for insurance reasons. So I'm going to knock that out. Now, so we can talk to 2 things about that. Number one, I don't mean to hijack. What PIW
No, I
needs
need to
property
ask you.
inspection waiver. So
Not
sometimes
a property
houses,
inspection, a property appraisal.
no, property inspection, hear me out. A property inspection waiver is Fannie or Freddie's way of saying you don't need an appraisal. So in doing that, they are accepting the sale value of the house and more. They wouldn't just, oh, it's a sale value. They think the house is worth more than that. So they're looking at indices and some sort of metadata that says that on top of this particular borrower being very high credit, very high, Mark, you would love him, very high credit, a lot of reserves. They could pay cash for this house if they wanted to. And probably when I spoke with him, he told me he'd have it paid off in 3 to 5 years
Yeah,
using
smart guy.
Accelerate.
And he's
Yeah,
young.
using Accelerate.
These are our smart young generation that all the people poo-poo.
Okay, that's right in my wheelhouse, and I'm for everyone that's listening, in my sorry not to transition, but I will concur with all of this. There is not a lot of gray area between in the generation, the younger generations. We're talking millennials and even Gen Z. There's not a lot of there's not a lot of gray area. There is people in those generations that clearly understand the power of their wealth or power of their income and have built wealth. And I have coached several clients that are in their late 20s, early 30s, mid 30s that have a paid off house because
You know why?
they stayed out of debt.
No, do you know why they are thinking this way?
Well, they don't want to see they don't want to go through what their parents went through
In 08.
is what I'm feeling.
When jobs were lost and houses were lost and it terrified them. That's why my daughter went into the military. She wanted a steady income, of course. Government shutdown. Next.
Until there's a government shutdown.
Yeah. All right. So tell us. All right. So the reason I kept saying inspection, not appraisal, is I don't want the everyday buyer. We always tell them there's two separate things. There's an appraisal and there's an inspection. And the appraiser does not do your inspection. But you're talking specifically about Fannie and Freddie verbiage, where an inspection waiver relating to the appraiser, not inspection waiver where I'm doing a pass fail or I'm not doing inspections on the condition of the home. You're talking about the value of the home.
Correct.
Yeah.
And Jennifer, you'd be surprised how many people buy houses they're like, I don't want to do an inspection. I'm like, well, you need to do one. Who's your realtor? So there's a lot.
That
there's a
doesn't
lot of
happen as
crazy
much
costs.
down here. It happens a lot in Ohio.
Yeah.
I don't even
There's
know a lot of flippers and investors who don't do an inspection. And if they do, it's because if they don't, it's because they are their own inspector, which in Tennessee is allowed, or they have an in-house inspector, which again, if you're buying under an LLC, that's allowed. In Tennessee, you're not allowed to have, if my dad's a builder, he cannot come do the home inspection for the house I'm buying. It has to be a licensed inspector in Tennessee, or me, myself, and I, or my household and my buyers on the contract, FYI.
I don't know if I told you guys this. Did I tell you about a couple that pre-qualified with me that their elderly neighbor's house came up for sale? Did I talk about that?
No.
Yeah.
So they
I don't
called
remember
last
that.
week over the
Oh.
weekend, and they were like, "Oh my gosh, this gentleman across the street, his name is Bob. Bob,
Well, my
his
neighbor's
wife passed away about 6 months ago. We've been helping him, and we saw this van over the other day, and it was Karen Grease buys homes. Yeah, it was a female name and a country buys homes was at this house, and they went over. He's like, I just sold the house. They're giving me $250,000, and they were like,
Where is this
what?
house?
Your house is worth 450 or 410. We live. They rent across the street. Where is this house?
Yeah.
Did you ask me where it's at?
Yeah.
Laverne or Smyrna?
Oh,
And
I hate elder abuse.
yeah,
so
there is.
I hate elder abuse.
Well,
And he's
I
in
mean,
his right mind, so he's allowed to do it.
He's what?
He's in his right mind, so he's allowed to sign these contracts. But he
Right,
wasn't
so
advised.
they're like, why would you do that? And they're like, he's like, I just don't want to deal with it. They told me I'd have to fix this, fix that. Don't want to sell it, and they can close.
Scared him.
And so this young couple said, well, we'll buy it from you, Mr. Bob, and we'll give you more than what, He's like, well, I don't even know. I didn't get any paperwork. They just had me sign signs. I don't know when I have to be out. And they're like, well, whatever it is, we'll give you 10% over. And they called me to get them pre-qualified. They were totally fine to do it. And yeah, $200,000 is being left on the table, and he doesn't. Hush! I got a dog. Sorry. And he doesn't. This it sucks. It is elder. It's questionable elder abuse because he doesn't know. He just wants it to be done. He's at end of life. He's in his 80s, and they're
Here's the
taking
problem
advantage of
too,
it. And we'll
Lance. You
say
got
it
to be
again.
careful not to get yourself involved in tertiary interference, which is third party interference. They have to be and they have to be careful not to involve themselves in third party interference. If he has a legitimate signed contract, now I'm not a lawyer, but I follow things. If he has a legitimate signed contract and they encourage him to bust it, then they can be charged for third party interference. Now, I'm going to tell you a scenario that you might share with him that was happening before the last pop. People were speculating on houses in Vegas, particularly in some other areas, where they would go out and buy a house that they suspected would be in high demand among buyers. They would go under contract on it. So I'm just going to use Mr. Bob's house here for it. Okay. So Mr. Bob, I see that this house is going to be a great deal. I go out and I contract on it. And I contract for $250. And then someone approaches me and says, hey, I love this house. I want Mr. Bob's house. And this is what they did. I'm willing to pay you, Jennifer, $5,000 or $10,000, whatever it is, to walk away from this contract. And before that happens, they put in a backup contract for 10% more than what Mr. Bob was doing. But what you've got to figure out is what's the sweet spot that they're going to have to pay the person in position one to do it. It's the only way I've heard of anything like that happening.
That assignment, does that have, what's the signing?
It's not an assignment because you're coming in as a backup contract. But someone's going to have to pay the other person to walk away, probably.
Well, the bottom line is no one's encouraging him to break anything, but he doesn't even know what he has. He has no paperwork, no recollection.
Which is illegal. Did he sign it electronically?
Yeah, I don't know.
If he signed it electronically, then he probably got emailed something right away. But in Tennessee, if you don't immediately, if you're hard copy signing something, like let's say I go out and I write a contract, even not accepted. Mark and I walk out and we write a contract on the hood of my car like I have done in the past, right? Handwriting it instead of doing it on my laptop. Because there was a time where I always kept hard copies of the contracts in my car for this. We get done signing it. As soon as he signs the offer, before I even send it to the seller, legally, I am supposed to send him a copy of it. So he knows what he signed.
I'm sure that whoever it is did their due diligence. Older people
Does
don't
Bob
understand.
have any family?
No. I don't know all the details. I'm just telling you something.
I hate elder abuse. Again, this is why friends don't let friends call 800 numbers for loans, for sale purchases. If your house is that interesting to someone that you are not going to have, you don't have to fix your house to sell it ever. You just have to price it for the condition that it is. But you should always know what your home is worth. It's a free service that I and most good realtors will offer you. It changes every 3 months, usually. Get an update. So anyway.
What are you seeing happening this week, Jennifer?
Getting a house ready to put on the market. There's some other things, but they'll keep for another story. I'm getting a house ready to put on the market. And again, I told these people, you don't have to do anything. But if they put in some paint and they put down new flooring, now they also need lights. They also could have maybe painted the ceiling, but it's okay. We're not trying to put this up to the top end of the market. We're just trying to do a lot of the things that are more difficult to do once you've moved your things in. So an owner-occupant can come in and not have to worry about moving things to paint walls and fix floors, but they can fix their own light whenever they want. But by doing that, we're probably increasing the value, maybe $25,000, and putting in less than that to do it because of the convenience factor. and presenting it well in that market. So that's what I've been working on, and trying to choose a color for the carpet, but I hadn't seen it in person and I couldn't tell if it went mauve-y. So finally got my sample. So that should all be mauve. And now
Oh, I
that's
love that
the
mauve.
yeah, mauve. And that's the now I'm waiting to see the clock, when the carpet comes in, when the LVP comes in, when it gets laid, when we can get it cleaned, when the cameras can get pictures can get taken, fighting the rain, because we're supposed to go live on Friday, but I suspect it's going to push till Sunday. So what about you, Mark?
I'll probably get in trouble for this, but I did a video today, just out walking around, and it dawned on me that even though it's really, we really have not had a whole lot of fall-like weather. It's just now starting.
Yeah.
I hate to throw this out here, but quite honestly, guys, guess what? Christmas is less than 2 months away.
Yeah.
And so I did a video. It hit me this morning, and I am suggesting to folks who are in a debt journey that one way to make sure that you insulate the progress that you made is slow down on your debt journey right now. If you're like me and you realized, oh wow, we are less than 2 months away from Christmas, and you still haven't saved and you still haven't funded how you're going to do Christmas, I would probably slow that debt journey down a little bit and paying off your debts. Maintain the minimum or a little bit more than minimum balances, but I would shift your focus to funding your Christmas and Thanksgiving, or the other holidays that you celebrate. And that's one thing that
you don't have to go crazy.
Right.
But if you don't do something, I think the tendency, and you can tell me because you've done it long, is to go out and go crazy at the last minute.
Yeah. It's a lot like, I feel like, and I'm not a psychologist or I'm not a licensed therapist or anything like that, but I highly suspect that it's very similar, what you just said, as the same reaction if we go to the grocery store and we're hungry.
Yeah.
We tend to buy more because we haven't planned and we're hungry, and we start feeding that.
You haven't been able to look for those bargains. I mean, right before this episode, right before we started recording this, I was at Costco. One of the things that was casually mentioned by a family member that they wanted was on a very good price, and it had a $10 rebate. Yeah, I'm going to throw that in. It was $30 what I bought. Yeah. Another thing that another family member had mentioned, normally $25, it was on sale for $14. Yeah, I bought that. And then there was a cute little outfit that, I bought that. And then, like I told Tim, Mariah is not getting a present at Christmas because she bought her house this year. And tradition, like when I graduated, when Hannah got her first house, and now that Mariah has, the tradition in our family is to get one of the big KitchenAid mixers. So my mother and I split that, and that's a wonkin' big present price-wise. Yeah. And then like Rowan today got in the mail an early present, and which will lessen what I buy for her, but she got her Ohio State cheerleading outfit.
That's great.
Yeah.
Again, on sale, great deal.
yeah, great deal. And it's just those you got to look at where you're at right now. And the thing that I did is I launched today. I launched the marketing and advertisement for 2026 for our employer sponsored wellness program.
Okay.
I'm looking for 3 new businesses that I would like to start with in January 2026.
Size business?
I'm sorry?
What size?
It can range anywhere from 5 to 20 to 50 employees. But if you sign up now before then I will include a 4-week course on a mastermind group on John Maxwell's 15 laws of growth.
And this is the employer can sign up for their employees, or they can offer it. And as long as 5 of the employees sign up, you're good too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And let's get that started over the next. And I'm looking for 3 companies. So if you're hearing this and that fits, go visit my website at www. I don't believe I just said www. That is just screams
You're so old.
1990s early. Yeah, anyway,
Next you're going to say kids these days.
Yeah, go to Aspire Coaching, ASPYRE coaching.com. And you'll see an opportunity there to schedule an appointment for the employer-sponsored wellness program through Aspire Coaching.
What if I'm the 4th company? Is this limited to 3 or what's the deal?
I'll probably negotiate something with you. I'm not, whatever.
The time is of the essence.
Yeah, time. Yeah, and the thing
I heard
is,
he's already got 2 lined up, so you better hurry up, folks. This is a limited offer.
In all honesty, I just put out that today, this morning, and I've already had 4 views on it. So,
See?
Doesn't sound like a lot, but
Don't dilly-dally.
Yeah. So.
Don't silly-shally either.
Yeah, in all honesty, that now is a good time for something like this. Pause your debt journey. Prepare for the holidays. January comes rolling around. That's when you really want to start this. If you're looking as a leader and a business owner, break the chain of financial stress that employees are bringing from home to work.
Well, and just really quick, because we're going to talk about it more as we get closer to. I think next week is a special guest. Then Lance's problems with loans and a special guest. Then you. And
Let
just
me
really
finish
quick.
up by saying
Okay.
for that. There in the article in the blog that I posted, there are statistics about the impact of how much productivity is lost.
That's what I was going to say. That's exactly what I was going to say. Is that it behooves the employer, because if their employees are not stressing about their debt levels and all these other things, they're more productive. They're also, once they start managing their debt, they're going to be more satisfied with life and with their job and happier, and know that the employer is the one who gave that to them. So it's just a win. And quite honestly, as an employee, if you are at a company that your boss offers this, 1, it shows their care and concern for you.
Yes.
2, they are probably fiscally intelligent themselves.
Yep.
So your security of your future is safe too. Shout out to Philip Cantrell, because he offers this program through one of your compatriots, and it's United, not just Benchmark, but United across Realtor across the U.S. offers it too. So it is huge, and it benefits the employer in different ways, and it benefits the employee in different ways. But we're going to open it up for Q&A. Ask the Realtor. Oh, by the way, I did get my fingerprints in Alabama this week. So my application is in, getting ready to go before the ARAC. And so I should be officially licensed in Alabama soon. All the tests are passed and all the things are done. So, but what questions and answers?
Are you ready for a question?
About Tennessee. I'm not ready for Alabama. I've taken the test, but
I want to know why realtors get paid so much when all you do is open a door.
If all I did was open a door, I shouldn't get paid. Now, you will see going around online a list of like 275 things that a realtor does, right? And those are things that we do. But what I always say is, you are engaging me not to find you a house. I'm talking for buyers, not to find you a house. But sometimes I am the one who locates the house. You're engaging me to get you the best contract on the house that you want and get it to close for the least amount of money, the least amount of chaos, and in the time frame you want. And that's based on, you're hiring my brain and my experience.
I think I can. No, you can't do that yourself. So I knew I threw that one out of left field. But Jennifer, so what are some of the things they could get themselves in trouble with when they can do it themselves?
So on the sales side, I've seen where people even went to a lawyer and they wrote the contract, and there were some things in there that weren't covered. and they got into a mess that way. They shortchanged themselves, like the buyer that you said. They didn't know how to write in things to be able to do their inspections in a time frame that they needed. So let's say that you are trying to get this offer in and you want to make it super appealing and you don't want to waive inspection, but you're like, I'm going to do a 3-day inspection period. And I'm going to do a 2-day, you're not going to waive inspection. You're going to go back and forth. You're going to be able to propose something. And I'm going to do a 2-day inspection window. If I'm writing an offer like that, I am calling up the inspector before we put the offer in. I'm getting ready to write this. Can you do the inspection on this house on this day? Let's get it penciled in. And I'm not going to do a 2-day back and forth, because if I'm not doing a pass fail, if I'm going to actually potentially negotiate something, I want it to be 5 days. We don't have to use them, but I only have to write an amendment to do an extension because we couldn't get the structural engineer out in time.
Wow, why do I need a structural engineer? I mean,
You might
I
not.
just looked at it. Looks fine.
You might not, but if you have a crack like this one over the wall of the room, then you might need to have pier support put in. I've had 3 people I know call me and say, hey, I saw your video about those cracks, and I don't know if I do or don't need something, but I might. And I said, well, let me have my guy come out, because Hunter with Frontier Foundations, All Things Basement-y, is not going to sell you something that you don't need. I have stood in the driveway of a home with another company that's very well known in Middle Tennessee, who says in their advertisements, it makes me mad every time I hear it on the radio, we won't tell you something you don't need. And their editing military adjectives person stood in the driveway and told me every home in Middle Tennessee needed a sump pump.
Even in the
Editing military responses. Not true. But if you don't know who to go to and who to check with, are you gonna, maybe you think you can do it yourself and you want to do an inspection, but before you even bind the contract, you want to know, you're putting in the contract, seller to cut down the big tree in the backyard. You haven't done an inspection, you haven't had a tree person out there. What's the seller likely going to say on that? But if I say to you, hey, hold off until we've done the inspection, ask for it then. I need to know if there's, every repair ever done on this house. Okay. Do you sound like a reasonable buyer to that seller? Probably not.
Well, in many cases, that buyer is never even going to get to the seller. We have a lot of people that are, I'm for sale by owner. And guys, you can do for sale by owner, but statistically, you're going to have a much harder time selling your house. And statistically, a realtor is going to get you much more for your
Usually
house.
10% more.
Yep. Then you're going to get
Do you
on
know
your
what
own.
the joke
How is
is?
that possible?
Do
How
you know
are
what
we
the
going to bring
joke is?
traffic to your house? Realtors are going to do that.
Yep. So listing your house for sale by owner is like winking at a girl in the dark. You know what you did, but no one else does.
Oh my God.
So that's yes. And here's the thing too. All right, it's listed on the MLS. I see it. I'm going to call up the list agent. List agent has 2 choices. Drop down to facilitator, where you're not allowed to legally give either side agency advice, or stay representing the seller. Mark, have you been divorced?
Yes.
Lance, no.
Negative. Ghost Rider.
But you know people who have. I have.
Yes.
Would you advise someone who came to you and said that they were really a little bit unsure about the situation and they needed to get divorced, and it was potentially going to be conflict, to use the same lawyer as their future
So
spouse?
this is right in
You
my,
know what I would
Now-
tell them?
It might be okay. I mean, like, my daughter's getting divorced. They've worked everything out. That's a different situation. But 99% of the time, you don't want to use the same. And you
number
don't
one,
want to have a realtor you're unrepresented legally and they're representing the other side.
So I've dealt with this on several occasions, and the number one, no, I would recommend not both parties using the same lawyer unless it's amicable.
Unless it's a mediation
Yeah,
situation
unless
more
it's a
than that.
mediation, I probably wouldn't do
Mhm.
that. But here's
Yeah.
in your finances, and people, this is really, really important in divorces. There is a point where you have to realize this is no longer emotional. This is a business transaction. You need to understand and surround yourself by people who can continue to remind you that this is a business transaction. You are now entering a business transaction with these assets.
Right. But when you come in, and that's the thing with real estate, my job is to look out for your interest. My job is to pave the way to get what you want done. I have always said I have a horrible poker face. I have a fantastic poker brain. Many times, just in the course of having a conversation with me, your agent, you're going to tell me things that it's probably not in your best interest for the seller to know. But if it becomes necessary to divulge those, I will. But if you're going straight to the sign or straight to the seller on a FSBO, that's going to get divulged most likely. Or they're going to be going, why are they doing this? This makes no sense, because a major piece of the puzzle is missing. Because you're being too cagey and keeping too many of your cards hidden.
I don't need to answer any questions to sell my house. Selling a house is easy.
Yeah, it is. That's why I swan around and make the big house
What,
and have TMJ from stress.
why do people? Here's a question.
Mhm.
Why do people put offers in on a home and make it contingent on selling their home? And how can if I'm faced with that and there's a house that I like, how can I break that up?
Okay, so you are the buyer and you want to put in an offer contingent on sale. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is call Lance, who I hope is your lender, and say, Lance, Mark is looking to put in a house. He doesn't want to have 2 mortgages, so he would prefer to sell his home before he buys this one. But I need to know if on paper his mortgage has to be contingent on sale of home. Now,
Well,
there's
No,
a whole
I'm,
bunch
I'm,
of,
hold on a second,
Yeah.
Jennifer. I mean, someone else has made it. It has a house that is listed as contingent. I'm surfing around. I'm good to go with everything is good to go. I see this contingency and like I'm not based. Hey, look, I don't care about you having to sell your house. I want the house. Let's go after it.
Okay, so here's the situation. So you want Lance's house. He's already under contract and they're still accepting showings. It depends on why they are contingent. If they are contingent on inspection, finance, or appraisal, you can write your offer and be second backup offer. If it's contingent on selling their home, then you have to know if they have a kickout clause. And hopefully Lance's agent was intelligent enough to write him a kickout clause, which means that if they get an acceptable offer, they can potentially go to the current buyer and say, you have 48 hours, 24 hours, 72, whatever it is, to remove the sale of home contingency on your home or come out of contract because we're going to accept buyer B. Here's what you have to know. If buyer A is contingent on sale of home and you are not contingent on sale of home, then that can bump. But if you are also contingent on sale of home, you can't bump out for just that reason, even if you're offering $50,000 more. You can't bump out just because you're doing a conventional finance and the other person was a FHA or VA or whatever.
Okay.
You have to have it's about the terms of things. Now, do you know the difference between sale of home and close of home?
No.
Sale of home is, I want to buy Lance's house. I do not yet have an offer on my home. I have to sell my home to buy his home. Close of home means I have to have the money from the sale of my home to buy Lance's house, and I already have a contract on it, on my home. I could fall out. Now, as a listing agent, what do I need to do to make sure that that's a safe offer? I need to call up your agent and say, Oh, you're contingent on sale of home. How soon are you putting it on the market? What condition is it in? What do you think that you're going to offer it for? If they're in my MLS, do I think that's an acceptable price that's going to get it quickly? Am I going to say we have a kick out clause of 48 hours for someone who's not contingent on sale? Am I going to say you have 30 days to get your home under contract or this contract is null and void? If you're contingent on close, I'm going to ask your agent, have you had inspections? How'd those go? Are we in the middle of them? Are they dicey? Are you going to end up back on the market? Have you had appraisal? Do you have any concerns about the appraisal? What's this person's finance? Did you talk to their lender? Is it an 800 number? Has that lender already seen them? Where are we on all those? So then I'm protecting my seller. Yeah.
Okay.
So clue for all you watch, Mark likes to say for anyone watching or listening, this is why you pretty much can't do it yourself.
Yeah.
Because you don't know all that stuff. You're going to go in there. It's not like going on Facebook Marketplace and saying, I'll meet you at the Kroger and give you $20 for this and we'll be done. This is a legal and financial transaction that goes deep and wide. And it
Yep.
takes a professional. It takes all three people on the screen to get it done. That's why we do this.
And by the way, for sale by owner, who's coming to your door? Are they ready, willing, and able to buy? I have a legal obligation to bring a ready, willing, and able buyer to your home.
Gosh, can you imagine today? I'm interested in buying your house. Do you mind if I take a look around in there?
Yeah. I mean, that that's an
You
interesting
need to
point.
leave.
Here's
Yeah.
the other question, too.
That's
If your house is listed at $270,000, $375,000, do you want someone in there who can only pay $300,000? You know, when you see listings that are in this area, $1 million and up, sometimes 750, 8. But those other ones, do you know what you have to do before you can get your showing approved?
what?
You have to send them proof of funds, a
Yeah.
bank statement or a bank letter or a qualified pre-approval, because they don't want you in there.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I
If
think
it's an investment home and it has a tenant, it is not uncommon in this area for you to have to write an acceptable offer, have it negotiated, and have it contingent on viewing. You don't get to see the house.
yeah.
And then it can be renegotiated after that contingency if you're like, holy cow, you didn't tell me that the floor was falling out because you have a property condition exemption and you chose not to tell me that half the dining room floor was missing, which that's just let me get up on a little soapbox here. Property condition exemption, if you haven't lived in that house for 3 years or more, you don't have to fill out the property condition disclosure, which is like 5 or 6 pages. You can do an exemption, but you are supposed to share what you know that's jacked with the house. So if you technically know that there's a roof issue because your tenant has been telling you for 9 months, and then I come and buy your house and I'm like, oh, there's a roof leak I didn't know about because I bought it in August when there was no rain. And the neighbors are like, oh, yeah, Mark knew about that. Lance's tenant told him that every other day. It's one of the reasons he moved. Do you know what's going to happen?
It's
Hello? Lawyer?
yeah.
I can now prove that you knew about this.
Yeah. I mean,
You
that's
straight up just look like the dude from Talladega Nights when you came in like this. What was that guy's name? He's so funny.
uh,
He's an
Ferrell?
elf. Yes, you just straight looked like him for a second. The way your head
That's why
was
I did
angled with
this.
your hair. Dear sweet little baby Jesus.
You know, I like to picture Jesus in a t-shirt. You know why? Because he's formal and he wants to party.
He had a mullet
You know
too.
what? There can't be two number ones, Mark. That would be 11.
that would be 11. You know what? I was just about ready to say that's 11. That's hilarious.
Oh my God. All right. What other questions y'all have?
Man, has the NAR decision made your life easier and more smooth, or has it made everyone, including the buyers and sellers, life more difficult?
There was one in NAR decision recently that made my life better. And it's a shame that it even had to be done. And it was a repeal. Do you know that there were 2 realtors who lost their license because back in 2016 and 17, even though what I'm about to tell you came in 2020, they had posted Bible verses on their social media.
Mm.
And they made people feel uncomfortable. So that has now been repealed.
Valentine.
That has now been repealed. So
So you can or cannot post.
I can now post things on my social media that are sharing my race, religion, sex, marital status, and not necessarily be saying against someone who has a different thought process or a different background than me that it's nothing to do with that. Now, if I am during a transaction saying, I don't know if I should sell this house to you because, there's not a lot of Christians who live in this area of Brentwood, Tennessee.
Might be in trouble.
Yeah, that's a different story.
Yeah.
Which, if you know this area, you know how facetious that whole statement was.
Overall, everyone on this panel here cares about people.
Yeah.
I think I care about what's happening in your life that's not going well in your finances, in your career, and how can we fix that? And
you want to see me get hot? You want to see me get hot is even hint that you're trying to go against fair housing.
I want a little transition into because career coaching and career focus has been something that I've picked up over the last year and a half. And I've got several clients that are in the career coaching program that we have or that I have. And the thing that I want to bring up is the housing market. I mean, number one, if your career, I feel like your career is a bigger focus than just your finances. And here's the reason why I say that. The reason why I say that is because everything is tied to the money that you make in your primary job. If this thing over here, which is your primary job, is not going well, then the likelihood is that's touching multiple areas of your life. It's touching your mental health, it's touching your finances, and it's touching your future. And a lot of times, this thing over here that is your career, if this is toxic, how are we going to feel comfortable and secure about buying a house, saving for a house, paying off our, debt, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, and oftentimes the people that I have in career coaching program right now, the majority of the time, it is a chaotic or a very stable environment. There's, once again, not a lot of gray area. And chaos means we've been separated from our job. Now, that might be a question that I throw out to you, Jennifer, about you're in the middle of buying a home and all of a sudden you get the bad news that you've been laid off. And once again, now you're in a chaotic situation. How would you handle that?
So it depends. If your government shut down, then I'd probably say to Lance, okay, first of all, we're probably going to have to pause because you can't buy a house if you don't have income. If it is being financed along those, if that's the source of income for the financing, you're not supposed to change your credit or income position during this. I mean, that's something I talk about during my buyer's orientation. Don't go changing jobs because maybe your base pay or your way of being paid is different. Oh my God, I had a friend and her buyer at the closing table. Somebody said, oh my God, I'm so excited you have your new house. And she's like, yep, new house. Got a new car yesterday. Got some new furniture. It's coming. Told my boss to kiss my butt. And I'm going to go find a new job now. And they're like, you're not buying this house. You're not buying this house. That was at the closing table in 2015. But it's things like that that make me say, I'm doing a buyer's orientation with you so that I am not going to be a party to you not going forward with what you want to be doing. But also in that situation, I'm not going to be known as the person who brought the buyer who was out of control and screwed over these sellers who are probably going to buy their next house.
Good point.
Well, I got to leave you with one last thing to end this out of things that happened
Yes.
this week. I had a closing Friday for a realtor friend of mine. It's an investment property in another state. And I'm telling you this because I'm not going to tell you the name of the title company, but I am going to tell you we'll never use this title company again. I'm not going to drag someone's name through the dirt. Jennifer, when someone buys a house, investment or primary, when the loan closes and the buyer turns to you and says, "Where are my keys?" What are you looking to the lender? What are you looking for? What are you looking to happen before you hand those keys to them?
Where's the money? Has it at a minimum reached the seller's title company or the seller's bank account?
And that's called funding. Okay?
Funding.
Jennifer looks to me and she says, "Has this loan funded?" That means that the bank sent the money. And typically a bank will send the money and they'll make one final condition to release the funds. And that is that all the documents have been signed. They'll do a snapshot of it. Boom, the money's released. Jennifer hands the buyer the keys.
And the seller's documents have to get to the buyer's title company, right?
Correct.
Yes.
On investment property, on primary refinances and purchases, on refinances in America, you have 3 days of rescission if it's your primary home. Okay. On a purchase,
Change
it
your
funds
mind.
immediately. On investment properties, it funds immediately. Okay. I had a title company decide on Friday morning they weren't going to fund my buyer's loan until Monday. So I was going to close on this. Anyway, you can't do that.
You're going to
not
have to
possible.
tell
You
me who
can't.
this is off air, because
Yeah.
when my ex sold his home, he owed me $9,000 of equity of the home, and he owed me $17,000, I think, in back child support and alimony. And I had a lien on the house for both those items. And they wanted me to sign off on it. And I'm like, I'm not signing off on it until you have the wire to me. I'll come in and do it as you push it through. And they said, oh, we're waiting on the funding number. They had given the buyer keys to the home that Friday. Ooh, this is in like 2016 or 17. Before it funded is what they're telling me, because they haven't given me my money. And so then Monday morning, I kept trying to find out what's going on. Has this funded? Do you have the funding number so I can sign this quick claim? Because I want to be done as much as anybody else. And nope. So I called another title friend of mine and did what they advised me, and it got it done. Do you know what I had to do?
What?
Went to my old house. Hi, I'm Jennifer. I used to own this. You bought it from my ex-husband.
Oh, God.
There's a lien on the house for $25,000, and I want to sign off on it, but I haven't been paid on it, so I can't sign off on it. So right now, when you go to sell this house, you're going to have a $25,000 lien from your equity that you have to pay me unless I get this money. You know what happened? And I said, I'm not trying to be a pain in your butt. This is where we are. And I left within 15, 20 minutes, maybe. Could you come in and sign these documents? We're going to wire you your money. Yes, you are. You're going to wire me my money. I don't know what the hell you've been doing.
So this company, I'll leave you with this. They said that it's their company policy. We're like, so on purchases of investment properties, they don't get their money till Monday. They're like, that's company policy. We're like, that's a bad policy.
What if they
You
close
just
on
lost
a Tuesday?
Yeah, insane. Hey, we're right at 50 minutes. Halloween's coming up. I want to hear some good stories next week.
Yeah, I think I just may wear my costume because it'll be on probably around then that we're recording next.
I got to figure out a costume. I have.
Oh, ours is stellar. It's a great couple's costume.
I don't know if I can do it, but I dressed up as a rubber chicken one year. It was a homegrown was a homegrown costume. I mean, I had.
Oh my God, pictures or it didn't happen.
Please find
Yeah,
that.
I had a yellow
If there's not a
sweatshirt.
picture, it didn't happen.
Yeah, pictures or it didn't happen.
I'll try to find. I do have pictures. I will try to find
Rubber
it.
chicken.
But I mean, I don't remember much about that night. That was in my
even
prior
better.
life.
Right. I do challenge you to go get that sign made that said, you know, if your debt is frightening you, call me.
I'm gonna do it. That is
Put it in the yard tomorrow. Like you don't have to wait till Halloween to put it out.
yeah. I'm gonna. I'm gonna do that, and I gotta.
Signs $15-20.
And put it on your social media.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
If your
I'm gonna end this recording.
if your debt is frightening, give me a call. I love it.
There you
I
have it.
absolutely love it.
If you want to buy or sell a house with someone whose brain you can tap into and experience, give me a call.
Don't take a chance with your mortgages. Call Lance.
Right? Don't call an 800 number.
You guys are awesome. Hey, I just thoroughly enjoy working with you guys. This is fantastic. Thank you so much.
We do
For
too.
sure.
Have a great week, everybody.
Yep. Take care. Auf Wiedersehen.